Hello, everyone. I'm here today with the FNAF theorist ID's Fantasy. ID, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us how you're doing.
Sure thing. As stated, I am ID's Fantasy. I do, Five Nights at Freddy's theories, and usually not the gameplay, because I am scared of horror games. Really badly. But I'm good at writing essays, and so I write essays.
Fantastic. Yeah, so we're gonna start off with a pretty simple general question. What is your favorite, if you have one, FNAF game and/or character from the franchise?
Okay. So, Phone Guy. 10 out of 10. Best character. He's just a silly guy trying to do his job. And he lasts a pretty dang long time too until but yeah, it's just a fun guy. And I just today, as of recording, finished playing Into the Pit, and honestly, that's probably my favorite of the FNAF games.
Is there any reason
It's a
why?
fun little spin-off, and it's cool.
Speaking of Into the Pit, what have been some of as of recording this, we just released Into the Pit like 2 days ago. So what have been some of the highlights from this 10th anniversary week with all of the different things they've been putting out?
I have had the most interest in reverse order of my interest levels. The top three. I'm interested in Secret of the Mimic. Though that's going to come out later, so my enthusiasm is slightly dimmed by the fact that it's not here now. But then there was the new Scott interview. It was nice to get some insight and some explanation for the box and stuff.
Definitely.
The infamous box. And it's just really cool to get information from the creator of the franchise himself, it's neat. And then the highlight was probably Into the Pit, and just
Yeah, understand.
it's a really cool game. I love the art style, the little cutscenes, yes.
With the Scott interview, I think one of the coolest things about that was when he was saying that Burn Trap was never originally meant to move.
Yeah, and then he did a lot.
Then he became like the big bad. I think my head canon as of now is that's the reason that it turned into a comic book ending in Ruin. It's because
that makes sense.
That wasn't what that's not what Scott actually wanted from Burn Trap. But who knows?
My thought on the ending is, I feel like that the Burn Trap ending has to have happened, given the blob is now roaming the place and whatnot. And the person we play as in Help Wanted 2 can play Princess Quest 4. And you can't do that unless because you have to beat the Princess Quest games in sequential order in order to have access to the later ones. So in order for our player character in Help Wanted 2 to play Princess Quest 4, theoretically, the player character in Help Wanted 2 would have had to be the one to beat Princess Quest 3. And I don't think we're playing as Gregory. My technical theory on Security Breach is Gregory actually experienced all of the endings, but some of them were more like hallucination, AI chip implanted memories, and then he was sent back into it again. And that's why he was able to draw all of them. But we know the blob exists. We see the blob in the game, so something had to happen for the blob to leave.
With all of the AI things that have been implanted into the story recently, it's been confusing me. I've been making less theories because I feel like all and resort back to there might be an AI chip somewhere or taking over the Pizzaplex or a Charlie Emily virus in the Mimic, and it's becoming a blur to me, but I respect people like you for powering through it. And
we'll find out in Secret of the Mimic, maybe. We just gotta give him some time.
Yeah, no, I hope we do. So when it comes to your theories, how does it feel being a newer relative to some of the other creators in the theory space? Do you think it's helpful to have the fresher perspective that you have, or do you think it would be better to be there from the start?
I think there are pros and cons to both sides. Because as a newer fan, there are a lot of things like old teasers and stuff like that where I wasn't around for them, and so I don't know about them and have to get told about them by people who were around. For example, there was a lot of debate recently over when FNAF 3 takes place, and I was talking to another YouTuber, and he pointed out to me that there was a teaser in the lead up to FNAF 3, which is a big reason why everyone went with it being 30 years after FNAF 1, is because the teaser says, Five Nights at Freddy's 30 years later, only one or something. Implying, one animatronic 30 years after Five Nights at Freddy's.
Hmm.
So stuff like that I wasn't around for, and so I can't bring up as evidence as easily unless I'm informed about it. But I do think that like having a fresh perspective is nice in that I'm not, or I wasn't, as attached to certain theory ideas, and so I could form them mostly on left to my own devices once presented the evidence.
Have you seen the dual process theory?
Yep.
Yeah, that's part of what inspired this question because I feel like it was very helpful because I assume they haven't been paying attention to the franchise since the beginning.
Either way, they're new to the theory video space. There are a few issues I have with their video where they say that, oh, this is what's happening here, but it's directly contradicted by what they're showing on screen. And so I have a few issues with a few points in their video, and I don't agree with the conclusion they came to, but kudos to them for making the effort. We all gotta work together to figure out this franchise.
I think they throw in some like good points. I'm not sure if I agree with every conclusion they came to. I don't think Michael is the vengeful spirit, but I like the idea that crying child is Cassidy. I think that one has more potential, but who knows?
I have my own issues with that one, but I have a whole video I did on it. Okay, people watching, go check that out.
Alright, yes, go.
The one with Golden Freddy in the thumbnail.
So with your own theories, how like confident are you in them? Do you like when you make a full video, are you more suggesting like this could be a possibility, or are you like this is what I actually believe is the case?
Generally speaking, I'll stick to what I actually believe, but I'll present it as a possibility, just because I don't want to be like, hey guys, this is what I believe and it's the right answer and you're not allowed to think differently. I hate every time I have to put I solved something or other or whatever into a thumbnail or a title, because that's what people click on, but I feel doing it because like no one solves anything ever in this franchise, you know?
Yeah. What has been your like craziest moment so far as a FNAF theorist? Do you have like, because you've been like gaining a lot of popularity recently, has there been any really cool experiences or any really like theories that you put out and you're like, well, I did something here?
Yeah, so when a couple years ago, I did a video on the Post-it note room in Security Breach, and that video did really, really well, and that is how both John FNAF and Matt Pat found out about me.
Yeah.
And that sort of has spiraled into, eventually I went on GT Live, and I talked to people, and it's cool, and stuff's happened, and...
Right.
I think that video, and then the one I did responding to Matt Pat being a little iffy on sister location in his ultimate timeline. Those are the two videos that have like really done it for me. Like I have other videos, especially in terms of shorts, that have done really well, but those are the two standouts.
I think your Post-it note room might have been actually the video that got me to start watching your channel. It's a really good video. That's another thing. If you're watching this interview, go watch Ivy's Fantasies Post-it note room theory.
Yes. I need to at some point go back and redo that video. That was before we had like solid-ish confirmation that Gregory was patient 46, so I was sort of responding to John's idea that Charlie was. If I were to go back in, I have more information and I could do it better, but I need there to be like a good opportunity for me to do it, because it's like, hey, here's the same video. My mind hasn't changed all that much, but here are some cool things. I'm
excited for when Secret of the Mimic comes out, just to get another like wave of FNAF theories. Like, I don't know, with the Steel Wool games, like Security Breach, I think led to like 20 game theory videos.
Yeah.
We'll get something.
Security Breach is the reason I'm invested in the franchise.
What is your like hottest take when it comes to FNAF? Is there anything you believe that like nobody else agrees with?
Oh man, the hottest take? That's a hard one. I have several hot takes. FNAF Twitter does not like me very much.
Well, if you want to just list a few, feel free.
Yeah, okay, so I think there is a non-0% chance that the crying child did not get bit at Fredbear's. I think that could have been a Freddy's, what with the Freddy animatronics having toys, and we do know that Springlock suits were at Freddy's locations via FNAF 3 phone guy. And I correlate where the crying child got bit to Junior's in Midnight Motorist, and Junior's implies the second of something, which would be not Fredbear's but Freddy's, which is my thought process there. But who knows? Other hot takes, whether or not, like, Tales may be mostly game continuity, but it cannot be completely. The dates and time spans that they give would mean the Pizzaplex in the games was open before FNAF 3 if it was a complete one-to-one. And as soon as you start saying, oh, well, it was a mistake, or oh, this isn't what, like, it was supposed to be, I'm like, well, that still makes it a different thing, you know? So that's there, and that's why Twitter doesn't like me. And I like Gregbot. Gregbot's cool. I think it's neat. I want Gregbot.
I do agree with that one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm all over the place with what I think is accurate at this point. I do think the books are most likely, like, if Fazbear Frights and the original trilogy were both supposed to be, like, not following the same story of the games, I don't know why Tales from the Pizzaplex suddenly would be. So it makes sense to me that it would be, like, just providing insight.
Just little spin-off stories based on it, but not exactly it. It gives information, but it's not all the information.
I think that
Secret of the Mimic will probably do something to the discussions on whether or not it matches exactly what happens in the books.
So, unrelated to Five Nights at Freddy's, what is a fun fact about yourself? What is it something you can tell us about yourself? I just said the same thing twice.
I primarily whistle out of the side of my mouth.
Fantastic. Thank you for that insight. Okay.
I wanted to learn how to whistle in 5th grade, and I didn't want it to be obvious to the teacher because I would get in trouble. So out of the side of my mouth it was, and that's how I learned how to whistle.
Do you ever plan on doing a face reveal? Why or why not?
Okay, so my condition for doing a face reveal is I get invited to be a cameo in a FNAF movie. Other than that, I don't plan to do a full face reveal. I might do like eyes and up, because some of the cosplay stuff I want to do, that would be most convenient. And like I like going to conventions, and I don't want to have my entire face covered the entire time. So if I just cover like the bottom half of my face, good. Still obscuring stuff, but yeah, I just privacy mostly. I don't, as much as I would like to be able to talk to like fans who recognize me, there's also going to be people out there who have more questionable intentions knowing who I am, so I don't want to risk that.
Have you ever been recognized, like, from your voice?
No, but sometimes I have told people, just as it's come up in conversation, they're like, now that you mention it, your voice sounds familiar.
Yeah. If Scott Cawthon himself is watching this random interview, cast ID in a FNAF movie so we can get a face reveal.
I think it would be really funny to have, like, in the background at some random table, you have an entire group of FNAF theorists, and everyone's like, oh, there's Ritos, there's John FNAF, who's this random girl? Oh!
No, that would be great. Okay, final question, probably the most important question of this interview. What is the best Five Nights at Freddy's song?
Terrible Things by Axie.
I have never heard of that.